What you're about to see is, in my opinion, the strongest way to play Toons at the moment, and I like to call it Briefcase Control. You guys ever played a fantasy game and come across one of those really suspicious looking chests, only to try to open it and for it to eat your face off? That basically sums up this deck list in a nutshell, as this cute looking briefcase over here, it's going to be giving Pendulum players nightmares for months. So here's today's deck list. Now just a reminder before getting to the deck list, if you guys are enjoying today's video and want to see more content just like this in the future, especially if you're a returning viewer, because apparently about 35% of you watching this are even subscribed to the channel, meaning 65% of you haven't even subscribed yet. So if you guys are enjoying this kind of content, want to see more videos like this in the future or more deck lists from me in the future, remember to like on the video and consider subscribing down below. Alright, let's jump into this deck list. Alright, so like I said in the intro, this in my opinion is the best way to currently play Toon, where you're not focusing too heavily on the actual Toon monsters themselves, but more on the goddamn briefcase. Briefcase is, for a rare card, it is incredibly strong. You take this thing into a Pendulum matchup, and they are going to be crying. This card is disgusting. And if you can search for it every single turn with Toon Dark Magician, meaning you're basically going to have infinite back row for the entirety of the duel, making it very goddamn easy to play a very slow, more control-y style deck list, especially considering your Toons could hit directly anyway. So if you just got one Toon Dark Magician, that thing by itself, with a bunch of back row, will eventually kill your opponent no matter what he's setting up. He can't just set Sling in front of it and pass, he's going to die. Now the reason I'm playing so little actual Toons in this deck list besides the Toon Dark Magician and one copy of BLS is because, in all honesty, going first, you're never searching for a Toon, other than of course your Toon Dark Magician, and he's also the only Toon you're ever going to summon. That means every single one of the other Toon monsters, if you draw them in your opening hand, are literally just bricks. They don't help you at all. They don't help you set up, they don't help you defend yourself, they're just there, they don't do anything. They don't have any quick effects for you to set up to try to help disrupt your opponent or anything. They're just big bodies that you're probably not going to summon because you're always going to go for your Toon Dark Magician. So it's just really bad for going first if you're playing a whole bunch of Toons. And then it passes back to your second turn. I don't see a need to have a whole bunch of Toons for that turn either, because you're always going to be using your Toon Dark Magician to summon out one Toon from deck, and that is already lethal on field. Both of these can then attack, and your opponent is then dead. And as long as you've got this thing set up, which you probably will, then your opponent can't deal with them. They're going to die to just these two Toons alone. You don't need to have a whole bunch of like 50,000 Toons in the deck when you're only going to need 2 to win the game anyway. The only upside to playing more Toons, and was the only reason why I'd actually suggest you guys might want to consider playing at least one more copy of maybe a BLS, is your field spell does do a lot of banishing, so you can accidentally banish this card quite often, or you might accidentally draw it in your opening hand, and then you won't have a target for this card. But I found that it didn't really matter too much, as a lot of my replays you'll find I just search for Briefcase over and over and over again, and my opponent can't play through the constant spams of Briefcase. That's just how the deck list functions. So you can play slow, or you can just kill your opponent just outright with a Toon Blackluster Soldier. So as Toons are a fairly old archetype, and unless you're a Yugi boomer like me for Duel Links, you might not know what these cards actually do. Let me give you a brief rundown on what some of the cards do. So your first card is your Toon Dark Magician. This is your main core piece of the deck list. This thing you can just summon it out whenever you like, because thanks to your skill you don't need any tributes for it. Summon it to the field, then it has a once per turn effect that requires you to discard one Toon card from your hand, which is pretty easy to do when your skill can literally shuffle any card in your hand back into the deck and add a Toon well to your hand. So this thing is always live, and it has one of 2 choices to make. The first is you can special summon one Toon monster from your deck except Toon Dark Magician, ignoring its summoning conditions. The other effect is you can add one Toon Spell Trap card from your deck to your hand, and you can only do one per turn, can't do both. There are 2 main cards you're going to be searching for using this card. The first is your Toon Bookmark. This thing can add one Toon World or one card that mentions it from your deck to your hand except Toon Bookmark. If a Toon World you control be destroyed by card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. So a very nice card to search for, then search for your Toon Kingdom. You normally want to go for this first, as obviously it provides a little bit of protection for your kingdom on the field. Now keep in mind, it will only protect the Toon Kingdom if it's already sort of been active. This thing will not protect your Toon Kingdom if your opponent chains an effect to destroy it. That's just not how the card works. So, unfortunately, it's still better to search this thing first, then grab the Toon Kingdom for a little bit of protection, but it's only going to protect the card once this thing's already been active. Alright, the other target you're going to be searching for with your Dark Magician is probably going to be your Toon Briefcase. This thing, when your opponent summons a monster while you control a Toon monster, shuffle that monster into the deck. And keep in mind, it says monsters. So your opponent summons multiple monsters at once, every single one of them are going straight back in the deck list. A very, very powerful source of removal that's non-target. It doesn't put anything in the graveyard, so you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. It doesn't send their pendulum monsters back to the extra deck. It just shuffles everything straight back into the deck list, clearing everything. Next up, there's the Toon Kingdom itself. This thing is an incredibly strong card and is the whole reason this archetype is at all any good. When this card is activated, you can banish 3 cards from top of your deck face down. This card's name becomes Toon World while it's in the field zone. Your opponent cannot target 2 monsters you control with card effects, so already, all your cards are immune to targeting. If a 2 monster you control be destroyed battle or card effect, you can banish 1 card from the top of your deck face down for each of those monsters instead. So your monsters are now immune to targeting, and they're completely immune to destruction, from battle or from card effect. So this just basically makes your Toon monsters into tower monsters, and keep in mind, it's treated as a Toon world, meaning your Toon cards can also attack directly, making this thing incredibly dangerous if it stays on the field. As for the rest of the Toon cards, they're all relatively fairly simple. You've got your Comic Hand, which targets one of your opponent's monsters and yoinks it for yourself if you control a Toon world. You've got your Toon Table of Contents, which just searches for a Toon card. And we have your Toon Black Fossil Soldier, which does have an effect where it can banish one of your opponent's cards, but it can't attack when doing so. And generally, you want to attack with this thing. It's got 3000 attack, it can attack directly. This thing can summon it from the deck. These two together can then just swing into your opponent and kill your opponent instantly if you have a Toon Kingdom on the field. So generally, this thing's just a vanilla beat stick that can hit your opponent in the face. Last thing to mention with this deck list, and honestly the most vital part of the deck list, is going to be the extra deck. First of all, we have your Master of Oz, reppin' the Australia. Then we have your Frightfur Sabretooth in prismatic form. Then we have your Big Frog, your Des Frog. Goddamn is he attractive. We have your Koala, of course, again reppin' the Australia. Then we have your Crocodile Riding Baby Dragon, we have your Flame Swordsman, and we have the Man-Eating Black Shark, one of the most powerful fusion monsters in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! And of course, to top off the list, a card that's absolutely required, and if you guys don't have it, I just feel sorry for you, the Prismatic Toon Dark Magician Girl Riding a Dragon. Man, if you guys don't have this card, it's probably not even worth playing the deck list, to be honest, so yeah. Alright guys, that's going to do it for the deck list portion of the video. The rest of the video gameplay showcasing the deck list in action, and without further ado, let's get into some gameplay. Alright, today I've got 7 replays to share with you guys. Now most of these replays, at least the majority of them, were actually gathered during a nice little 8-game win streak I had towards the end of my little climb with this deck list. So, do I think this deck list is good? I think it's definitely alright, especially for a ladder deck list. I think the main downsides of this deck list is all just matchup dependent. If you're up against somebody that's playing Triple Cosmic, which let's be fair, a lot of people are, you're going to have a much harder of a time than if you're up against someone that's playing MST for some reason or no background removal at all. If you're up against Orcus, you're going to struggle heavily because they have a lot of non-target, obviously non-destruction removal, which is basically just completely counters you. But if you're up against something like Pendulum, for example, things might go a little bit differently, as you'll see from this game. I won't spoil it. People that don't know the interaction. Alright, the Toon Dark Magician discarding a Toon to search for a Briefcase. In this matchup, it's very important to get as many Briefcase as possible, because this deck list is a scale that can remove back row, and as long as you keep a Briefcase on the field, you've just won the game instantly, as you'll see. So Toon Table of Contents can be searching for my Searcher. The reason we do this is obviously because the Bookmark has a little bit of protection for your field spell in the graveyard, so we're going to search for the Searcher first. Set 2 and passing. Alright, Pendulum Cool being searching for his annoying card that removes one of the back row. Alright, setting the 2 scales. Raging Pendulum. Oh boy. Hope you guys are ready for this. Some of you guys might actually need a change in underpants after watching this. It is absolutely disgusting. This actually might be the most satisfying resolution effect in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! This shit is disgusting. We'll let him have his animation first, of course. Won't cut him off. This guy decides to summon 4 monsters with this Pendulum Summon. And they're gone. They're not sent to the graveyard, so that Orcus monster, it's not in the graveyard. They're shuffled all back into the deck, every single one of them. So those Pendulum monsters don't go back to the extra deck like they would against other deck with other sorts of removal. Nothing goes to the graveyard, it's all just chucked back in the deck list, so he's got literally nothing left. Even with 2 scales, he can't pendulum something because there's nothing in his extra. Alright, discarding, searching the bookmark. Normally, of course, you search for, you'd special summon out the other Toon monster here so you can attack directly for lethal, but unfortunately we had to discard our 1 copy at the start of the game. But that doesn't matter too much. I know it may sound kind of weird that I'm playing 1 copy of this, because a lot of the time it does have to get discarded, or your field spell might banish it by accident and you won't have access to it. But I found that you really don't need it, because you can just set up, as long as you can set up infinite amounts of briefcases, a lot of the time you just win the game by default. In this case, bad example, because I banished one of the briefcases, I'm pretty sure. But generally, if you can just keep searching briefcases, you can just play briefcase control. It's actually disgusting. This card might actually be, like, the best card out of the archetype. Obviously, the field spell's a bit better, but my god, this card is so good. Infinitely recycle it via the, or infinitely search for it via Toon Dark Magician. Alright. Up against Destiny Hero.
Duel.
Alright, Toon Invitation, gonna be discarding, searching for a Toon card, just so grab our briefcase, or grab our field spell, sorry. I'm so used to grabbing the goddamn briefcase. Activating the field spell, sending a card back row, and passing. To summon the drill dar, don't care. Summon something else, don't care. We're waiting for him to summon something big, and then we're just gonna get rid of that shit. We're gonna save our briefcase, because it's generally the better card. Compulse is sort of more, okay, he just concedes instantly, but Compulse is generally the more, versatile card. The briefcase is definitely stronger. I can move multiple things, so. Alright, bit of a quick replay that one. Alright, this guy was playing BLS.
Duel.
And I definitely think Toons are better than BLS. At least the matchup feels better. BLS might be. Oh, not, he's not even playing BLS. Never mind. Oh, this replay was silly. I think this guy just played it wrong. He had a really interesting turn, as you'll see, which I'm not sure if it was if there's any world where it was correct to do so, but you'll see what I mean. There's no way this guy played this correctly. Alright, Book of Mooney's monster. Alright. Terraforming, searching for my kingdom. Need kingdom on the field because there's an annoying trap card that bounces my monsters by targeting. Warning points me. And then he just... Now you'd think, oh, maybe he's a dum-dum, didn't know this thing didn't target or stop targeting. Maybe he was doing this by accident. But then he did it again. Like, he must be wanting to put these cards back in hand, I guess, but that seems so weird. I mean, they do summon themselves, so maybe he was just trying to generate value and he knew targeting effects weren't that great. Just wanted more copies of his trap card or something. But it just seems so weird, especially considering he can out this field spell quite easily and still keeps the back row on the field. Maybe he knows something I don't. I'm gonna Book of Moon the annoying monster. I was kind of scared he might go into like a Nightmare Unicorn or something, which would get rid of this thing instantly. Kingdom for some protection. Uses the chase early for some reason. So I could just place the kingdom again. There's no way this guy... There's no shot this guy knew what he was doing. Alright, again, kind of scared Nightmare Unicorn's gonna Book of Moon this. Briefcase, shuffling that shit back into the deck. Does mean he can still do a normal summon though, because I don't think he's done one yet. I think maybe he did do one, I don't know. It's so silly. Alright, searching for grabbing another copy of Toon World, because obviously if I have 2 Toon Worlds on the field, even if he bounces one, I can still hit directly, which is the whole goal. And he's gone. I should not have won this one. This guy was just a little interesting. Alright, next up, Mr. Send Nice. Weird Trickstar. I think this replay was a quick one as well, I think. Or maybe it wasn't, I can't remember. And once again, I think we also went first. Alright, Bookmark, searching for our Magician. Table of Contents, searching for my Kingdom. Shuffling to make sure we get a Briefcase, because Briefcase is generally better than Book of Moon. It's going first anyway, obviously. Managing 3, setting 2, and passing. Alright, Festival, summoning some tokens, we can get rid of them. Quite easily get rid of them. Discarding something out potential lethal, because like, this one can attack when summoned. Unfortunately, he did have a White Princess, so didn't have lethal. Honestly, I probably should have searched for a Briefcase there, rather than searching for the potential lethal. Because Trickstars are known to run this card, and just having a Briefcase on field was like guaranteed winning the game anyway. I didn't really need to summon this, I could just wait a little bit, be a little bit more patient, but whatever, we got him. We got the replay, so what does it matter? Alright, finally I go on second replay. Gotta get a couple of these, otherwise people complain. I don't really know what this guy set up, I can't really remember. Oh, the triple back row, of course. Alright, so I was a little bit scared here of triple back row. I was like, the chance of something here being like a cosmic or some way to remove the field spell was so high. So I'm like, let's just try to bait it out by doing some weird stuff. So I was like, I'm just going to search for the comic hand and then placing the Toon World on the field. Then I'm going to steal his monster. This does potentially set up lethal, by the way. Because I could also just summon this, discard a Briefcase, summon the dude that can attack immediately. So it's potentially lethal. And he immediately uses his die because he needs to get this this dude off the field. For some reason hits the hand rather than the Toon World. But now I'm at least safe to place my cards being not as scared anymore. He baited out some stuff. Alright, Miracle Fusion, summoning out Elemental Hero Neos Knight. Or Briefcase that. Don't particularly care about a singular Stratos, so we'll save our Compulse. Top deck Toon Kingdom. Don't even need to search for it. For some reason, I guess he wants to compulse my card before I could make the non-targeting thing on the field. But now it's like, I just normal summon it again, so... Maybe you want to free up some space for him, his fusion spell here. Alright, summoning a Neos Knight. Not going to do anything to it yet, because we're actually not really scared of it. This thing we are scared of, though. That is non-target removal right there. Get that shit out of here. Alright, discarding, grabbing hold of another Briefcase. I think I'd already banished my dude by accident, which is fine. We just, like I said, we don't actually need that guy to win. If we just play patiently, we just Briefcase control this guy. It's literally a mimic from Dark Souls. And he's gone. Briefcase control. The best way to play Toon. That's done replay I've already seen. No. I think this was another pendulum replay if I recall, and you probably know what's going to happen before I've even shown the replay. But, you know, it was very satisfying the first time. You're probably going to enjoy seeing it again. Duel. Alright, once again, highest priority is trying to get a hold of multiple Briefcase, so discarding the book, grabbing a Briefcase. I love how the skill literally gives you a Toon card, so it lets you trade out any card in your hand whenever you like for a Toon card if you have Dark Magician on field. Alright, Pendulum Call. Once again, he's going to get rid of my back row. It's unfortunate. But we've got a Briefcase, so we've still got a Briefcase. What rarity is this thing? Like a normal rarity or something? A normal rarity card that can do this to opponents. I don't know about that one. Bit of an interesting decision, I would say. I think a lot of the decisions actually for rarities in the latest pack were really weird. Briefcase, and it's gone. Oh, he decided to keep playing though. He thinks he's got. He actually thinks he's got a bit of a chance here. He thinks he's got a shot. All right, discard. Now we've got lethal on field. And even if we accidentally banish this thing, we could just search another Briefcase, and what's he gonna do? He's through another Briefcase. I guess he can discard a card, but... Alright. Final replay. I think this was the Legend 3 Rain Cup. That wasn't the last one. Might have been. Oh, never mind. This is the last game of the 8-game spree. BLS.
Duel.
Man, I just showed a lot of replays going first. Oops. This deck list can play going second, by the way. I probably should have shown more of them. I didn't even realize until now. Definitely can play going second, because most of the time you just search for this thing, unless they set a Cosmic Cyclone, your monster's just immune to stuff anyway, you just normal summon them without giving a shit. Basically the exact same playstyle as if you're going first, you just do going second most of the time. Except higher priority on Kingdom, because you need to actually protect your monster. I can play it going second. Yeah, just gonna have to trust me on that one. Just trust me, bro. Where's my evidence? Just trust me, bro. Alright, he just concedes. He couldn't do anything. And that's the average BLS versus Toon matchup. They don't have any sort of innate... I guess they can if they're playing the little knight guys. They can have a quick effect. They have a target banish where they can get rid of the field spell. But if they're not playing that anyway, you can just shuffle that back into the deck with Briefcase. So what the hell is he going to do? Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this little video. If you did, remember to like, subscribe, that kind of stuff. And yeah, hope to see you guys in the next one. Laters.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob? Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis. Oh.